श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्। ॐ सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं नमत्तोऽन्यत् इति मे निश्चिता मतिः. So we were seeing how many ignorances we accept. The topic of discussion becomes important because we say I am ignorant about this, I am ignorant about that, so many things. So our experience says that we have multiple ignorance. That's what our experience shows. But our experience need not be true. That we have seen with the example of rope snake. So what does the Shastra say? That is the deciding factor. What Shastra says is the deciding factor. So what does it accept? So for that we say to once 260. Why is it saying 160? 260. Ekajnana-pakshe bandhamoksha-avastha ekajnana-pakshasya jayastvam nama-bhedena maya swarupam cha. 260, right? 261 we have to start, but 260 is the base for 261. I already said in the last class that we will start from here again. So he says, Ekajnana pakshe, if we accept ignorance to be one, bandha moksha avastha, we can explain the bondage and liberation also. Ekajnana pakshasya jayastvam, and accepting ignorance to be one is superior. Nama bhedena maya swarupam, and the nature of maya according to the different kind of names it has. Okay. So the topic itself, he makes one thing very clear, that accepting ignorance to be one is superior, and that is the best way. Why at all this doubt? Why should we discuss about this ignorance, one or many? Like I said, we experience multiple ignorances. Okay. There is furthermore a bigger problem. The bigger problem is if the ignorance is one, okay, you are liberated, so we all should be liberated also. Or this is a happy ending. If one is liberated, everyone is liberated as happy ending. But if it is like this crab, you know, the people who sell crabs and snails and all, when they sell snails, they'll keep it, they'll put just salt around that box. It may climb up, but when it connects with salt, the salt start melting, it will fall down. Okay, it cannot escape. But for crab, they don't do anything. They'll put it all in the bowl. They won't do anything. Because one crab climbs, the other crabs pull that down. So it cannot escape. It won't escape. No crabs escape. Now, if that is the situation, meaning somehow one fellow tried to gain realization and he's realized, because the others are not realized, they'll pull him also into samsara. This is a dangerous issue. He's going up and he's saying, before you complete, I'm realized, you are pulled back into samsara by others. That's a dangerous situation. If you accept one ignorance, these will be the problems. So for that we say no. Tacha jnanam ekam eva, that ignorance is one alone. Jnanena jnanam nivartate, and through knowledge that ignorance gets resolved. Parantu यस्मिन् अंतःकरणे ज्ञानम् उदेति तादृश अंतःकरणवच्छिन्न चैतन्यनिष्ठ अज्ञानांश तेन ज्ञानेन निवर्तते. Okay. ignorance is one and it is relieved by knowledge. But still the problem remains same. If the others are not realized, then you are going to be pulled down, right? So he says, no, parantu, but yasmin antakarane jnanam udeti, in which mind this knowledge takes place, akhandakara vritti takes place. Jnana here is akhandakara vritti. In which mind that akhandakara vritti takes place, tadrisha antakarana chaitan nishtha ajnanamshah tena jnana nivartate. The ignorance part, ajnanamsha, the ignorance part associated with that kind of mind in which the akhandakara vritti took place. Only that gets resolved. In whichever mind that akhandakara vritti took place and because of which that ignorance of that mind got resolved, only that knowledge, that ignorance gets resolved. But the ignorance associated with the other minds, they are not resolved. Only in the mind which has ignorance, which is associated with ignorance, that ignorance portion of that mind is resolved through the knowledge, not for others. Like, simple. Let us forget about akhandakara vritti. Akhandakara vritti is too much. See, I don't know what this is. What is this? I am ignorant of that fact. So now somebody says that's a cup. It's a water cup. Okay. Now for me, my ignorance got resolved. That does not mean everyone outside, they also know that that's a cup. So there may be many more people whose mind has the ignorance and in whose mind this knowledge didn't take place will be still in that ignorance. Okay, so he says, sa eva mukto bhavati, and in whichever mind that due to that akhandakara vritti the knowledge took place, only that fellow gets liberated, not others. यस्मिन् अंतःकरणे ज्ञानं न उदेति तत्र ज्ञानांशः तत्र अज्ञानांशः बन्धश्च तथैव तिष्ठति. So he makes it clear. यस्मिन् अंतःकरणे, in which mind ज्ञानं न उदेति, the knowledge didn't take place, तत्र अज्ञानांशः बन्धश्च तथैव अवतिष्ठति. In that mind, the ignorance portion and the bondage remains as it is. Only the mind where the knowledge took place, the ignorance is resolved. The other minds where the knowledge didn't take place, the ignorance remains the same and the bondage remains the same. Anena prakarena ajnanasya ekatva pakshe bandha moksha vyavahara siddhi. When you accept like this, mind associated ignorance, and that mind associated ignorance gets resolved, then you can explain away your doubt saying that if one realizes, everyone realizes. No, that doesn't take place. यदि वाचस्पति मिश्र मत अनुसारेण केषाञ्चित् नाना अज्ञान पक्षः मनसि प्रविशति तदा सोऽपि पक्षो अद्वैत ज्ञानोपाय एव. But Vachaspati Mishra, this is according to the other school. Now we are talking about the Bhamati school, Vachaspati Mishra. Okay. So he says, see, there are multiple ignorances. What is your problem accepting multiple ignorances? And if you see this to be logical, accepting, what is the problem? Why should we accept only one ignorance and associate with the mind? I have a different ignorance, you have a different ignorance, you have different ignorance. Ignorance gets resolved over, that's the problem. The problem is solved. Why do you have to bring in the mind associated ignorance and that mind in which that ignorance exists, that ignorance gets resolved through the knowledge taking place in that mind? What confusion? Simple. Ignorance gets resolved. Problem solved. Why to complicate things? If you say that, then let it be so. If somebody understands it to be so, let it be so. We don't have any problem with that. The ultimate goal is ignorance should be resolved, and that gets resolved only through knowledge. Over. Whether you accept one ignorance or multiple ignorance does not really matter. Once the ignorance gets resolved, you yourself will understand multiple or single. Why to fight over this? So he says, "Na tanmata khandane agraha karya." You should not be worried about, or you should not be worked about. Like I'll condemn him. I'll destroy him. I'll decimate him by logic. You don't have to work on it. Forget it. If somebody sticks to that school, let them follow that school. Why? Yaya prakriyaya jignasoho advaita bodho bhavati tasyam prakriyayam tasya buddhi sthiti kartavya. There are different methodologies in Advaita Vedanta. As I say, there are more dualities than in the duality schools, the multiple duality schools in Advaita itself. One fellow says one ignorance, another fellow says multiple ignorance. No. One person itself, one mind itself has multiple ignorance. No, one mind has one ignorance. So all these, that's in every aspect of Advaita Vedanta, there are multiple schools. Not one, multiple schools. Where do you accept the ignorance? There is another fight over that. In the Ishvara, in Jiva, or in Brahman. So if somebody accepts in some way or other, let him stick to that school. Does not really matter. There is no, if your teacher, your guru taught you that ignorance is one, that is what you have to stick to. That's all. If some other's guru teaches him ignorance is multiple, and you don't have to fight over that, because you are not here to resolve his ignorance. You are here to resolve your own ignorance. Right? So he says, keeping that in mind, he should have to stick to whichever methodology he follows. He should have to stick to that methodology. He should not have any doubts regarding that methodology. That is what he has to follow. That's all. If he has no doubts regarding this methodology, let him follow it. But when he asks you, or when he tries to convince you, then you can show your true face. Okay. So, yeah. See, this is a sloka from Naishkarmya Siddhi. Naishkarmya Siddhi, Sureshwaracharya Bhagavan very clearly says, Yaya bhavet pumsam vyatpatti pratyagatmani sa saiva prakriye hasyat sadhvi sacha navasthita. This is the idea which he gave in prose. This is a sloka in Naishkarmya Siddhi. Yaya bhavet pumsam vyutpatti pratyagatmani. Pratyagatmani, regarding the individual self. Vyutpatti, the knowledge. Yaya prakriya. In whichever methodology a person gains the knowledge regarding the individual self to be identical with the absolute self. Whichever methodology. Sa eva prakriya ihasyat. That is the methodology we should have to accept for that person. Sadhvi, as right. Such anavastha. And this right, this is the only right, that is the only right. There is no only one right. There are multiple rights possible, because according to different people, they follow different schools. See, I repeat, different interpretations of different things in Advaita. Here, whichever path one takes to understand, let him follow that path. We are not giving him a free hold on the path. We are saying, according to the scripture, according to the Shastras, in the Advaita school, if somebody is interested in interpreting one thing in a different way, and he understands the truth through that way, it does not really matter for us. But it should be only the whole premise, the freedom remains only with Advaita, not in other schools. Whichever way, it is already said, whichever way you can Let him go and climb the hills. Let him jump in the river. Let him. That is not the methodology here. Okay. Shuddha Brahmashrita Maya. So he said in the topic, he said we are going to explain the Maya, different names of Maya and its nature according to the names. In the topic, that is what was said. Shuddha Brahma Ashrita Maya. Avidya iti, Ajnanamiti cha ahu. This Maya, which is based on the pure self, is also called as ignorance. Avidya is also called as ignorance, Ajnanam. You call it Maya, you call it Avidya, you call it Ajnana, does not really matter. They are all synonyms. Achintya Ananta Shakti Matvad Yuktinam Avishayatvacha Maya iti Vipadesha. Why do you call it Maya? Why do you call it Maya? Simply, when you ask what is Maya, Ya Ma Sa Maya, which is never, no. Ma means no, does not really exist. Which does not really exist, that is Maya. Simple logic, that is. He says Maya means Achintya Ananta Shakti Matvat. It has a incomprehensible multiple powers. Absolute power. Incomprehensible absolute power. And Yuktina Avishayatvat. It is not an object of logic. You cannot understand Maya through logic. You can only understand its effect, not the Maya itself per se. Okay, that is what is called as Maya. Maya is something which is a very powerful and which is a beyond our scope of thought. Okay, now this is Maya. Vidya nashyatvat avidya iti varnyate. Avidya. When there is vidya, it does not exist. When there is no vidya, it exists. So therefore we understand avidya is that which is negated, annihilated, destroyed by vidya. Avidya is that which is destroyed by vidya, knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. Avidya, ignorance. Avidya is a absence of vidya. So it is removed through vidya, knowledge. That is why it is called as avidya. Okay. Swarupa avarakatvat ajnanamiti cha bhanyate. Ajnana. Ajnana. No knowledge. No knowledge means, what does that mean? Your inherent nature is knowledge. So, since this is the culprit which hides your inherent nature of being knowledge, it is called as a ajnana. Surupa avarakatvat. Since it is a veiling your inherent nature of being knowledge, it is called as ajnana. These are all different. See, these are all some ways of explaining. This is a way kind of methodology which he wants us to understand. That's all. This is no, there is no hard and fast rule regarding this kind of definition. Swarupa avarakatvat ajnanamiti, Swarupa avarakatvat ajnanamiti. You don't have to memorize this, because if you understand this, it's okay. They are all synonyms. Mayayaha ashribhutam chaitanyam samanya chaitanyam na tad mayayaha virodhi kintu sadhakam. See, mayayaha ashribhutam chaitanyam. The Maya exists in the consciousness. We already said this. The subject and object of Maya is consciousness. Like the darkness in the next room, the darkness veils the objects in the next room, and meaning the subject is also the next room, the object of that darkness is also the next room, not here, this room. Similarly, the Maya has as its subject and object the the knowledge itself, the self itself. So that is why he says, Maya Ashribhutam, the substratum for Maya, which is the knowledge, the consciousness, that is general consciousness. That consciousness is a general consciousness. That is the consciousness existing in everyone. So we call it general consciousness. And Natan Mayayaha Virodhi, that general consciousness is not in contradiction with the Maya. If it opposes Maya, why should it give space for Maya? You don't have to go through Akhandakara Vritti and study the Vedanta. Because the primary error didn't take place. Then there can be no secondary error. Primary error is Chaitanya consciousness giving space for Maya to exist on it. Like the rope, when you don't see the snake, there is no issue. When the rope says, no, I am rope, don't come on me. No, I will not allow you to superimpose on me. Then there is no problem. But the rope does not do it. Now, the consciousness also does not say, ignorance, don't come near me. It allows the ignorance to exist on it. It is not just not contradictory, it is also an aiding factor for Maya. It supports Maya actually. The general consciousness supports Maya. That's the beauty. If it is not contradictory, that is okay. But it is also supporting it. Very good, very good. Come, take this also. How? He says, Mayayaha Sattapadam Spuranapadam cha. It supports by giving Maya legitimacy, by making it existent under the experiencer nature. You experience Maya. Maya exists. Where does this existence and experienceness come from? From the self substratum. So it is not just non-opposing, it also gives whatever is its power. It gives, okay, you enjoy. Vrittyarudham chaitanyam athava chaitanya saitam vrittim mayayaha virodhitaya janya. Then how can I get rid of this Maya? Because the problem is not someone. The problem is the consciousness itself. Consciousness itself allows, the self itself allows the Maya to exist on it. And it's also supporting by giving it the wherewithal, the existence, experience, nature, etc. So how can it be gotten rid of? If the head of the house or the head of the country itself is supporting a terrorizing person or a terrorizing group, then who can throw them away? That is what is happening here. This Maya terrorist is supported by consciousness. We are all afraid, right? We are all afraid of Maya. So he's a terrorist. Maya is a terrorist. Actually, she is a terrorist. So now, when this consciousness itself is giving it so much of support, how can you get rid of Maya? You cannot. So for that doubt, he says, Vrityarudham Chaitanyam. Athava Chaitanya Saitam Vrittim. Whichever way you want to see. The consciousness associated with the thought function, or the thought function with the consciousness, whichever way, consciousness associated thought function associated consciousness, which is a Akhandakara Vritti. Only this Akhandakara Vritti is contradictory to Maya. Understand this. Only the only contradiction to Maya is the thought function associated with consciousness. Nothing else. What kind of stupidity this is? Consciousness itself, the head of the state or the head of the house itself is supporting this Maya, the terrorist. And you say, somebody will come and relieve it. Who is that somebody? Who is associated with this head? Consciousness is the head. And whoever is associated with that head will remove this. How can that be happening? So for that, we'll give a simple example. When there is a good sun, you take a paper and put it outside. The sun supports the paper. It illumines it and it generates heat for that paper. It dries it. Does not do anything else. The sun dries the paper and illumines it. It is aiding the paper actually. Whereas you use a lens under the sun on the paper, that concentrated light burns the paper. Similarly, this mind, this consciousness does not remove the ignorance, but this consciousness through the lens of thought function, akhandakara vritti, destroys the ignorance. That is this. Atra Suryakanta Shilarudha Surya Prabha Drishtantatvena Avagantavya. Here you have to understand, as an example, you have to understand the light ray passing through the lens. Suryakanta Mani means the lens. So you have to understand this with respect to the lens through which the rays pass through. Otherwise, the rays are not contradictory to the paper. So, itham eka anadihi santa sad asad vilakshana anirvachaniya avidyajnanadi shabda vyapadeshya samanya chaitanya mashrita vrittyaruda chaitanya vinashya cha maya varnita. Beautiful. Whatever is the different aspects of definition of Maya. Normally, when we say Maya, in Bhashya, Bhagavan Bhashyakara uses Sadasada Anirvachaniya. Sadasat Vilakshanatve Sati Anirvachaniya. That is what is the general definition. That which is being different from existence and non-existent, and at the same time is inexplicable. That is what is the definition we give for Maya, Avidya. Or we'll say Bhava Rupatve Sati Jnana Nivartyatvam. Having existence, at the same time that which is removed to the knowledge is Maya. Okay. Now, all these he is bringing in one place. He says, Itham, in this way, Eka Maya Varnita. First word Eka, one, Maya Varnita. One Maya is established, explained. What is that one Maya? Anadihi, beginningless. Anadihi. If it is beginningless, then there is no end to it. Anadi means it is Ananta also. Whatever has beginning has an end. Whatever does not have a beginning cannot have an end. So, for that doubt, he immediately adds Santa, that which has an end. How can that which does not have a beginning have an end? Yes, can have. The absence of pot is from beginningless time, but it comes to an end the moment you make a pot. So, something which does not have a beginning need not have an end, and something which has a beginning always need not be ending. It can be eternal also. Like I destroy the pot. There is a beginning period for that destruction. That does not come to an end. Once you destroy the pot, whatever is created has an end, right? Whatever has a beginning has an end. You destroy the pot, at some point or other later, the pot will become one. Have we seen like that? No. The pot never becomes one. Destroyed pot is always gone, eternally gone. So, something which does not have a beginning can come to an end, like the prior absence. Something which has a beginning can be eternal, like the post-absence. Okay, so he says this Maya is a beginningless but has an end. Okay, then Sadasat Lakshana. What is that? Maya. It is different from existence and non-existence. What is different from existence and non-existence? Then he says, Anirvachaniya. It is inexplicable. Don't ask what is different from non-existence and non-existence. It is inexplicable. Then he says, this is the Maya which is also referred to with the synonyms avidya, ajnana, etc. This is the very Maya which is explained through the synonyms avidya, ajnana, etc. Okay. Samanya Chaitanya Ashita. And this has as its substratum the general consciousness. The general consciousness. Vrityaruda Chaitanya Vinasha. And this Maya can be negated, annihilated only through the thought associated consciousness. Khandakara Vritti. Nothing else can remove this Maya. So all these different aspects of Maya is explained. It is beginningless. Follow it. It is beginningless. It has an end. It is different from existence and non-existence. It is inexplicable. This is what is called with Maya, Avidya, Anadi, Chaya, etc. Different names. And this is based on the general consciousness. And this can be gotten rid only through the thought associated consciousness. All the different aspects are explained. Beginningless 1 will come to an end. 2, different from existence, non-existence. 3, inexplicable. 4, called with different names, Maya, Avidya, Ajnana, etc. 5, then it is based on the general consciousness. 6, and 7 is it can be gotten rid of only through the Akhandakara Vritti. Thought associate consciousness. 7. All the 7 points are explained here. Okay. Now, 261 to 262. Avarta 261 to 262. He says, Prasangad Ishvara Swarupa Varnanamcha. Now, since we are talking about Maya, and whenever we discuss the creation of Maya, Ishvara and Jiva, when we talk about Jiva and Ishvara, we always say Maya Vachina Chaitanyam is Ishvara, Avidya Vachina Chaitanyam is Jiva. This is what we say. But in the previous topic, we said Maya is the very culprit which is also called as Ajnana, which is also called as Avidya. There is no difference between Maya, Avidya, etc. Okay, we have made it clear in the previous topic. But generally speaking, when we say Ishvara, we say Maya associated consciousness. So since we are on the topic of Maya, we have to talk about Ishvara. Who is Maya associated consciousness? So he says, 261, Ishvara Swarupam Dvividha Prakarana Dvividha Karana Lakshanancha. Okay. Ishvara Swarupam Dvividha Karana Lakshanancha. The inherent nature of Ishvara and the 2 types of causes. What is that? Before entering this, we have to understand one. Inherent nature of Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer of this creation. Okay. So, to create something means there needs to be 2 causes. Cause A is the instrumental cause, Nimitta Karana. Cause B is the material cause, Upadana Karana. So, there needs to be, to create anything, you need 2 causes. One is the instrumental cause, the other is the material cause. Without the instrumental cause and material cause, you cannot create anything. So, since we are talking about Ishvara, who is the creator, we also need to talk about the 2 causes. So, he says, Shuddha Sattva Guna Sahita Maya, Maya Adhishthanam Chaitanyam, Maya Pratipalita Chaitanya Abhasa iti Trayam Militva Ishvara Ityabhidhyate. Okay. I didn't bring my. What is Ishvara? What is Ishvara? So in the glass which we use for, it's okay. In the glass which we use for makeup, the whole box, there is this mirror and this powder. Okay, that powder box, you have three things: the box, the mirror, and the powder. So everything is, when you close the box, everything is element in that mirror, right? So what is Ishvara? Shuddha Sattva Guna Sahita Maya. Mirror is a Maya, and that Maya is that which has predominantly pure Sattva. Ignorance is of three gunas: Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. But if it is predominantly of Sattva Guna, then it is called as Maya. Okay? Now, Maya is that which is predominantly of pure consciousness, Sattva Guna. Now, that is the mirror A. Maya Adhishthanam Chaitanyam. The box is the consciousness. Then Maya Pratifalitam Chaitanya Bhasa. The powder and the box getting reflected in the mirror. There are three portions. One is the mirror, the second is the box, and the third is powder. Maya, the mirror; box, the consciousness; powder, the reflected consciousness. So the whole group, all these three, is a vanity box, or all these three is the Ishvara. Okay. Iti Trayam Militva Ishvara Ityabhidhyate. All these three are called as combinedly is called as Ishvara. Box, mirror, and the powder. Consciousness, Maya, and the reflection of Maya. Okay. Reflection of consciousness. Soyam Ishvara Sarvagya. And this Ishvara, what is his nature? He is Sarvagya. Sarvagya means omniscient. Sa eva jagatah karanam. And he is definitely the cause for this creation. When he is the cause for creation, what kind of cause is he? We have to explain that. So he says karanam dvidham. Cause is of two types: upadana karanam, nimitta karanam chaiti. One is material cause, the other is instrumental cause. यद कार्य स्वरूपे प्रविशति यद विना कार्यस्य स्थितिर्नास्ति तद उपादान कारणम उच्यते यथा मद्घटस्य उपादान कारणम. So he is explaining what is material cause. When we say material cause, I think I understand what material cause is. Do you? What is material cause? Because with which the effect, the material with which the effect is made is material cause. Okay, we think we understand. Okay. For pot, which is the material cause, with which I make the pot, clay, right? Water. Because without water, even if you have clay, you cannot make the pot. So is water the material cause or not? Is water's material cause. But does the water nature exist in the pot? No. Clay nature? Yes. So water is aiding cause at best, not a real material cause. Water is supporting cause. Sahakari karana, we call it. So we are not getting into that. We are talking about material cause, right? So understand what material cause. That is why we have to bring the definition. He says, Yadu karyasvarupe pravishati. That which enters the effect. That which has its existence in the effect. Okay? First. Yadvina karyasya sthir nasti. Without which the effect cannot have any existence. That which enters the effect and without which there can be no existence of the effect, tad upadana karanam uchyate. That is what is called as material cause. Now see, clay. When you make pot, clay enters the pot. Okay. When you destroy the clay, there is no pot. Okay. So, clay is a material cause. Water enters the pot. Yes. But even without water, the pot exists. Because you are putting it in kiln and burning the water. You're destroying the water content. But still, the pot exists. Therefore, it is not material cause. You understand? So, though without the water you cannot make a pot, but water is not material cause per se. Says that is why mrgatasya upadana karanam. For the clay, for the pot, the clay is the material cause. घटस्वरूपे मृदः प्रवेशो अस्ति. मृदं विना घटे घटः न स्थितिं लभते. So he is explaining the whatever we said. The clay enters the effect pot, and without the clay there can be no existence of pot. Clay enters the pot, and without clay there can be no pot. Therefore, definitely clay is a material cause for pot. Now, material cause is done. We are to see what is nimitta karana, instrumental cause. He says, यद् कार्य स्वरूपे न प्रविशति किंतु कार्यात् पृथक् स्थितं सद् कार्यम् उत्पादयति. यस्य नाशेन कार्यं न विनश्यति तन्निमित्त कारणम् इति अभिधीयते. यद् कार्य स्वरूपे न प्रविशति. See, there were two parts in material cause. It enters the effector, and without which the effect cannot exist. Okay. So first he says, यद् कार्य स्वरूपे न प्रविशति, that which does not enter the effect. Okay, that is first portion. The second portion is without which the effect cannot exist. So he says, yasya nashena karyam na nashyati, destroying which the effect is not destroyed. So both contradictory. Material cause and instrumental cause are not similar in any which way. Material cause enters the effector. Instrumental cause does not enter the effector. Material cause gets the effect gets destroyed once the material cause is destroyed. But if the instrumental cause is destroyed, the effect is not destroyed. Okay. Now, kintu karyat prathak sthitam sad karyam utpaditi. And the third important aspect of material cause, instrumental cause is it stays different from the cause and the effect and produces the cause effect. Instrumental cause is something which stays different from cause and effect but produces the effect from the cause. This is the extra bit in this. Material cause enters the effect. Instrumental cause does not enter the effect. Material cause, if destroyed, the effect is destroyed. Instrumental cause, if it's destroyed, the effect is not destroyed. Same, but in opposites. The difference is instrumental cause being different from the causes, material cause, produces the effect. Okay, what is the example? He says, Yatha ghatasya kulalo danda chakradayascha nimitta karanani. Like for the pot, the potter, the potter's wheel, the stick with which he rotates the potter's wheel, etc. are instrumental cause. The potter's wheel, the stick with which he rotates the potter's wheel, etc. You can also use the blade with which he removes the pot from the wheel. That is also an instrumental cause. All these, even if destroyed, the pot, the wheel is destroyed, the pot does not destroy. The potter is destroyed, the pot is not destroyed. Okay. So, and it is different from the cause effect. That is why it is called as Nimitta Karana. Na kulaladayo ghataswarupe pravishanti. So the definition he is putting in the example. The potter does not enter the pot. The potter is not part of the pot. Okay, first part. Ghatat prathak bhuta ghatam utpadeti. Being different from the pot, he produces the pot. Okay, that is also taken care of. Third, Ghata utpatyanantaram kulaladinam nashe api ghato nanashyati. After the creation of pot, even if the potter is no more, the pot remains. Oh, my creator is gone, I will also. No. Even if the potter is destroyed, or the wheel is destroyed, or the stick with which he rotates is destroyed, the pot remains. Effect remains. Itham upadanam nimittam iti chakaram didam. In this way, there are two causes. One is upadana karana, material cause. Second is a nimitta karana, instrumental cause. Okay. Now, we are saying Ishvara is the cause for creation. What kind of cause is he for creation? Is Ishvara the material cause or Ishvara the instrumental cause? What is Ishvara? Is Ishvara the instrumental cause for the creation or Ishvara the material cause for this creation? If you say Ishvara is, no, it is not both. You have to accept something. So, if you say Ishvara is material cause, then who is the instrumental cause? That is the question. If you say Ishvara is the instrumental cause, then where did he bring material from? Because if he is material cause, he is not entering the creation, he will not have any control over the creation. If Ishvara is just material cause, he will not enter the creation. No, if Ishvara is only the instrumental cause, he will not enter the creation, he will not have no control over the creation. If he is only the material cause, then who is the creator? Who is the one who is using this material cause? What is he? Is he Ishvara or not? Superior than Ishvara? What? There will be too many confusions. So, we don't say Ishvara is, the moment you start accepting Ishvara and explaining Ishvara, we have to accept Ishvara to be the cause. So, what kind of cause? That is the only question. Ishvara is the cause, that is fixed. What kind of cause is he? He is both material as well as a instrumental cause. Abhinna nimitta upadana karana. He is both material as well as instrumental cause. But what is this? A potter can be an instrumental cause. He does not cut the part of his body and make pot. He is just instrumental cause. And the clay can only be material cause. It cannot be instrumental cause. How can this fellow be both material as well as instrumental cause? Oh, we have seen examples here. What examples? This beautiful small creature called spider, it spouts from its own body the web, and it takes it when it wants to destroy it, it eats it up. So the web is spider. The existence in which the web is spider, and it also takes it back, merges. Creation, sustenance, merging. All these three is created by spider. We have an example. Spider is Ishvara. So, example for Ishvara, I said 262. What is the time? 49. Okay. 262. Ishvara eva prapancha upadana karanam nimitta karanam cha. We'll see this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.